Welcome to the Simply Vegan podcast with me, Holly Johnson, and my co-host, Gabriella Clark. Each week we discuss the latest vegan news, taste test new products, and chat to some of the leading names in veganism. Welcome to episode 1 of series 2.
Hi everybody, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And here we are in VEGANUARY 2021, which is really exciting. I think it's a record year already, I believe. I think they've got to, they've beat previous year's records already. So that's fantastic.
Amazing. Really nice to have that positive spin on what looks to be still a bit of a gloomy month. So something great to focus on.
It is. So did you ever do VEGANUARY before, Gabriella, or were you sort of vegan before you kind of discovered it?
So I actually went vegan around June, July time, about 2.5 years ago. So I've never done veganuary as a normal kind of meat eater, or that wasn't my entry into veganism. But having worked or used to work in an office, being around lots of people who gave it a go for January, and actually quite a few of them then still 1-2 years on are still vegan. So I think it's such a positive movement for veganism. How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I never actually did it, which I feel quite sad about now, because I would have loved to have kind of said, I did veganuary and then stayed vegan. I don't know. I don't even really remember kind of being aware of veganuary before going vegan. I think I went vegan in like February 3 years ago. So again, I just missed it. But now every year I make sure I sign up online, because I think it just adds to the the momentum, doesn't it, and adds to the figures. And it's also great to you get so much stuff via email. A lot of it, when you've been vegan a while, you kind of know already, but there's some great recipes, and there's just they do send some really helpful info. So this year I thought I would do and it's not going well, I have to say. I thought I would do whole food plant-based for January, which I kind of just made it up, but having eaten quite a lot of naughty vegan food lately, especially last series when we were taste testing a lot of treats.
A lot of treats.
Yeah, I thought I would set myself that goal, but then my mum made me a massive batch of vegan brownies yesterday, so it's not going that well so far.
I mean, the brownies need to be eaten for sure.
I know, this is it. I did say to her, please don't do this to me.
They sound delicious. I think though, they're still home baked.
True.
With love. They're not going to be maybe the slightly more processed stuff that we've been indulging in over Christmas to fill our fix, to get our fix of that Christmas food, buffet food. So I still think the brownies are technically whole foods, I would say.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd share a few tips, didn't we? Because, possibly quite a few new listeners might be trying veganuary for the first time and be completely new to veganism. So do you want to start with yours?
Yeah. So my first tip is, and I think I've mentioned this before, but is to actually enjoy it. I think so many people go into January, whether they're choosing to try a vegan diet or another type of diet, and see it as a month of abstaining from everything that tastes nice or everything that's going to satisfy you. And actually, I can honestly say my diet as a vegan is more fulfilling, more exciting, more diverse than it ever was when I was eating meat and dairy. So yeah, first and foremost, enjoy it. Don't see it as a diet that cuts things out, more as a way to add lots of different things that you might not normally eat or cook with into your everyday eating, really.
That's a really good tip. I think sort of elaborating on that a bit, I think when I went vegan, I I found food suddenly really exciting, and like you say, just discovering new foods rather than thinking I'm taking all this out of my diet. Look at it as this is a whole new way of eating and a new way of cooking and a new way of living, really. You
Definitely.
know, tofu, I mean, it's only actually recently that I've discovered how versatile it is. You know, I mean, you can scramble it with some turmeric and maybe some paprika, um, to make and to make scrambled tofu like you would scrambled eggs. You can bake it, so marinate it and bake it so it's kind of crunchy. You can, you know, use it in curries. There's so many different ways to use tofu. Seaweed, I mean, I'd never really eaten seaweed apart from if I had a Chinese takeaway, but then I don't think it's even seaweed, is it, at Chinese takeaways? I think it's
No.
crispy kale. So yeah, I'd never eaten seaweed, and I love that. I use the nori wraps, so you can get those in Tesco's or any, you know, most places now. Um, which, you know, we make sushi with, vegan sushi with like avocado and sweet potato. Make sure you have a nice sort of sauce or something to dip it in. um
Delicious.
yeah, just think, make it exciting, and explore new flavors and try new things.
Definitely. And there's so, trying veganism in January, the benefit is that there is just so much content out there that's so easy to find in terms of recipes and people to follow. And there's so much out there. There's, really imaginative vegan chefs and cooks and cookbooks where if you're the sort of person that loves to spend time in a kitchen, maybe at the weekend, being really inventive, there's amazing recipes for that. And then at the same time, there's some really quick, easy, healthy recipes that tick the box for those midweek dinners. So much inspiration out there. It's a really great time to be giving it a go.
Yeah, and in the supermarkets as well. I've just been, well, I went to Lidl the other day and Aldi today because I heard they had I think they call it the special, is it special event or something like that?
Yeah.
So I just raced over to my local Aldi and they've got so much. They had, I think they're salted caramel cupcakes. No, Biscoff. I think they're Biscoff
Ooh.
cupcakes. They had pain au chocolat, vegan pain au chocolat, all sorts, pesto, because usually pesto has cheese in, which is something that I didn't even consider before. They've got loads in there: coleslaw, potato salad. Same with Lidl's, they've got coleslaw. So it just makes it so easy. It really does, doesn't it?
It really does. And I think, most people would be surprised just how many easy swaps there are. So first and foremost, there's loads of easy swaps. Like you say, your normal coleslaw, I'm buying just a vegan one that tastes exactly the same. Second of all, there's lots of products that are accidentally vegan, things that you think can't possibly be vegan, like most bourbon biscuits
Yeah,
are
Oreos.
vegan. Yeah, Oreos, things like that. So yeah, have a read of the packaging. And then third of all, there has been such a boom in brands, really amazing brands doing really inventive things with plant-based ingredients. A couple of my favorites are, I don't know if you've tried them, Holly, the Squeaky Bean brand. They're definitely in Sainsbury's and in Waitrose.
I don't think I have.
And so they do, I guess they're kind of like sandwich meats, but they're made 100% from beans, so they're
Oh,
not
wow.
processed at all. So they do a pastrami and then kind of like a chicken and kind of like a ham, but really good for you, not processed, made from beans, delicious. And they're so lovely on salads, in bagels. Great if you're working from home and need like a really quick lunch. So there's lots of amazing brands out there to try.
I haven't heard of that one. I need to look that up because often my daughter,
Mm.
I mean, my daughter's vegan. She's not at school at the moment because the start's been delayed due to COVID. My son is not vegan, but he's and this is completely his idea. He said he's going to do VEGAnuary, which
Wow, good
to
for
him,
him.
yeah, which in his mind means vegetarian January, because he says he just can't give up chocolate. Not that he has to give up chocolate, but I think he's just worried about his regular chocolate bars. He's he's not quite ready. He's only 8, so
Well, guide him via your Instagram page. I saw this morning on Accidentally Vegan, which is another really great account to follow on Instagram if you're on there. Accidentally Vegan UK. They post loads and loads of content of things that are in different supermarkets. People kind of post photos to them, share images, so you know what new stuff is launching. But they did a post today, vegan swaps for Veganuary, the chocolate edition.
right. Oh, brilliant.
So I guess it's part of a series that they're going to do, and there was 4 slides, and they posted like Maltesers, Reese's Pieces, Dairy Milk Caramel, Bounty, Chocolate Orange, and then underneath a vegan replica.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if that's his Achilles heel, as it were,
he's got no excuse.
no excuse.
I need to head to that page after we've recorded this episode.
Do some blind taste tests with him.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, those squeaky bean slices though would be really good for sandwiches, because I think it is really difficult with lunches for school to find things. Even if you're not vegan, it just becomes really boring, doesn't it? So
yeah, really monotonous. No, we're a huge fan of those in our house, and there's great vegan substitutes for ham and bacon by some of the more well-known brands like Quorn, but knowing there's brands out there like Squeaky Bean who are maybe a little bit less processed, if you're still wanting to be conscious of the health side as well, great to see brands like that emerging.
yeah,
Really exciting.
brilliant. Well, we taste tested a new product recently. So we did a lot of taste testing during December of all the Christmas ranges. And this is kind of perfect for January, actually. They are new centerpieces from BOL. And they are in Tesco and Co-op now. They're £4 each, and there's 3 to choose from. There's a sweet and spicy glazed aubergine, a whole roasted firecracker cauliflower, and an Indian spiced butternut squash. And they're just really good because they are healthy, they're not processed, and they're just a great replacement for how you would have meat in a dish if you are the kind of person who's used to having meat as the centerpiece. And they come with recipes as well, recipe ideas, so you can kind of give you an idea of what to put with them.
Really brilliant.
My favorite was the Indian spiced butternut squash, which has an almond pistachio crumb and coconut yogurt. It was lovely, and honestly, you eat it and you think, I can't believe this is a vegetable. It's like
amazing. Love it when that happens.
I know it was brilliant, and of course you could try and recreate it yourself, whether it would taste as good or not. But it's a brilliant idea. And then my second favorite was the firecracker cauliflower. This was huge. It fed all 4 of us. That's was really brilliant. Really nice. Yeah, and then the aubergine's a funny one, isn't it? I sometimes like it and sometimes don't. It's just kind of the texture, I think.
Yeah, I think you have to really cook it right to avoid that maybe more slimy texture that isn't possibly for everyone. I know what you mean.
Yeah, but they were all brilliant. Definitely something to check out. You tried some of their soups?
Yeah, so we had a little explore of the brand and some of their options through the more kind of easy lunch options, like their soups and one pot meals. Really delicious, great brand for that kind of grab and go easy lunch. My partner is fortunate enough to still be able to go to work and not working from home. So he took a couple in as well, and they're a really great solution. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out the brand if you're looking for something delicious, either as that kind of centerpiece that you tried, or some of the one pot soups and paella, kind of bean chili meals, lots of options.
Yeah, they're kind of ready meals, but they're really healthy. They're just not processed, are they? Which is great.
And good portion sizes.
Yeah.
As well. So worth checking out the brand, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we better wrap it up there. We will be back next Tuesday with more Veganuary tips and more news and reviews. Stay with us. Next, I'll be chatting to Toni Vernelli, Head of Comms at Veganuary, about the history of the campaign, what to expect this year, and more meal ideas and tips. Hi, Toni. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today, our first one of 2021.
Thank you for having me.
That's okay. So what's your role at Veganuary?
I'm the head of communications and marketing.
Right. Okay. So you just kind of look after putting out all the info for press and things like that?
Yeah, I oversee all the external communication. So from our media outreach, social media, the content of our pledge series, just making sure that we're always speaking with the same voice.
Yeah.
And providing the most relevant content for our supporters.
Okay, so how did Veganuary get started?
It was founded by a husband and wife team, Matthew and Jane, in their kitchen in York back in 2013. They were both, quite active vegan campaigners, but they realized that for most people, the idea of suddenly changing their diet overnight forever is quite a daunting prospect. And they thought that giving them the chance to try it out, on a 31-day challenge would actually make it seem more feasible for people. So they launched the first Veganuary campaign for January 2014, and they had just over 3,000 people sign up that year.
Which is brilliant for a first time thing, isn't it?
Definitely. They said they only expected, they thought if we get 1,000 people, we'll be thrilled.
Yeah. So it was obviously, the appeal of it was out there even, quite a few years ago. But since then, it's just skyrocketed, hasn't it?
Oh, incredible. I mean, last year we had 400,000 people take part. And this year, in October of 2020, we actually passed 1 million participants since the campaign started in 2014. So that's actually an enormous growth in just 7 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So, because I think what I'd always encourage people to do is go onto the website and sign up, because I have a lot of people who kind of, it's almost become a thing of its own, hasn't it?
Yes.
People don't necessarily realize that it's kind of connected to an organization, or, there's websites and things. I think a lot of people just think, you just kind of do dry January and you might do Veganuary as well. So my husband's a bit like that. He's going to kind of go all out and do dry January and Veganuary.
Wow.
Yeah. But, I'm sort of like, you've got to go onto the website and sign up, because otherwise you don't get the numbers, do you? So people don't know how many people are doing it.
Exactly. And also they miss out. We provide 31 days of emails with loads of nutritional info, recipes every day, shopping tips, lots of really useful information, all for free. So if people don't sign up, they're really missing out on a lot of really helpful resources.
Yeah.
And we know, from Kantar data that we commissioned last year, that 10 times as many people, as you say, do Veganuary without actually signing up through our website. So it is much bigger, but it's just a shame that so many people are going it alone when there's help at hand.
So what can we expect from this year's campaign?
So this year, we've got a lot of celebrity support. I mean, we'd have celebrity support every year, but this year we just published an open letter with some really big names signed onto it, urging people to try vegan this January. So we've got Ricky Gervais, Paul McCartney, Chrissy Hind, Jane Goodall, which is amazing, Brian Adams, and then we've got Greenpeace UK and Friends of the Earth also both signed on to the letter, several politicians, you know, really just focusing on the fact that this new year gives us an opportunity to change. You know, 2020 has been a big wake-up call for everyone, and we know that, you know, factory farming and our consumption of animals is linked to pandemic. So we have a chance to start over effectively in 2021 and change our diets and help prevent this from happening again.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've spoken to throughout our podcast series this year have touched on the same thing. And it's just, you know, it's just become so real to me that this, you know, our farming of animals in the way that we're doing it, it needs to stop. I mean, obviously as a vegan, I'd like to see no animals being farmed. However, we have to be realistic, don't we? So, you know, and just no more factory farming. Thank you very much. Let's put an end to that right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think there's an appetite for it out there. You know, we've seen our signups really increase since the pandemic started. At first, we were quite apprehensive. We thought, well, people can't even get food in the supermarkets at the moment because there's shortages. So, you know, we didn't expect that to happen. But it became clear very quickly that actually there was an increased interest in plant-based foods and plant-based cooking. And I mean, our signups are, you know, at least double of what they were last year at this same time. And they have kind of been, you know, that much higher all of this year since the pandemic started. So hopefully it is helping people to change.
Yeah, hopefully this will be the turning point.
Mm.
So you talked about the celebrities. How do you get them involved? How does it work?
It's a lot of hard work. We do actually have someone whose sole job pretty much is to reach out to celebrities and to sort of maintain relationships with the celebrities who are really supportive of us. I mean, some people like Jasmine Harmon, Peter Egan, Ivana Lynch, you know, they're just so dedicated to the cause that they will do pretty much any media interview that, you know, we get requests for and post about our campaigns on social all the time. So, you know, people like that, we really try and support as well in their endeavors and really keep the relationship there working well. But it's constantly monitoring the media for people who have mentioned that they're interested in trying veggie or vegan foods or have changed their diet or are really interested in, you know, environmental issues, approaching them. We have celebrity participants every year. So, you know, we look both for people who we think might be interested in trying it to be participants, but also people who are already vegan or, you know, advocating at least for a primarily plant-based diet who might make good ambassadors who can promote our message. We just reach out to them and, you know, and we keep trying even after we get no response and hope that something that we, you know, invite them to take part in will appeal.
Yeah. My boss keeps telling me to get Lewis Hamilton on the podcast. And I'm like, I've lost his email. I just him to get hold of him. It's not easy to get hold of these sort of high profile celebrities, is it? But
no, it's really not. It's really not. I mean, we've approached Lewis Hamilton so many times for so many things, you know, even just donate a recipe for our cookbook, you know, that sort of thing. And it's tough. You can imagine the amount of requests they get.
Yeah. Oh, you're letting us down, Lewis. So January 2021, any newbies who are, you know, perhaps they've been a bit flexitarian for the past year, or perhaps they're completely new to veganism, what advice would you give them?
So we have a few sage pieces of advice that we always give people. The first one is to be prepared. So, you will fall at the first hurdle if you wait until January the 1st to think, oh, I better get, what am I going to eat today? And you don't have any plant milks or vegan marge in the house. So plan in advance, make sure you've got some shopping in for the first day of your vegan pledge so that your meals are all already planned for that day. And also think a bit ahead of time. If you've got social events that week, I mean, probably not this year, but lunches to pack for work. Yeah. It does pay to plan ahead, because although there's more vegan options available now on the high street, you can still end up in a situation where you're stuck for food. So just making sure you have packed food, or have at least a few snack bars to hand, is really helpful. Then the second most important thing is to be kind to yourself. Don't let perfection be the enemy of the good. We all slip up, we all make mistakes, we all give in to temptation sometimes. And if that happens, you should just chalk it up to experience and keep going. Don't decide that, because you've had one mess up, you should just abandon your vegan attempt altogether. I think from Veganuary's point of view, that really is the most important thing. We all make mistakes. The important thing is that we all try and keep going.
Yeah.
And third is to keep experimenting with different products, because there's so many different types of, vegan sausages, plant milks, vegan cheeses out there. If you don't like the first one you try, don't write them all off, because they're all so very different. So persevere, because there will be a version out there that you'll like.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with that. I think cheese is one of those ones, isn't it, that a lot of people kind of cite as their reason that they can't go vegan. And I think, why not just kind of try everything else, keep the dairy cheese going for a little while, and then maybe try and start phasing it out. Perhaps cooking dishes that don't have cheese in them naturally, rather than trying to sort of, exactly replace your cheese and biscuits with vegan cheese. Because, I mean, vegan cheese is getting better, isn't it?
It is getting better, yeah.
Definitely is. We quite like the Applewood smoked cheese, and for Christmas I ordered some artisan vegan cheese from a place called Palace Culture. So it's kind of cultured cheese made from nuts, and it's kind of good for your gut, and it's absolutely delicious. It is expensive, but it's like you say, it is just kind of trial and error, looking around. I think the Facebook groups are brilliant. So there's like Accidentally
Very
Vegan,
good. Yeah.
and obviously the Vegan Food and Living pages. There's so much advice out there, and people are so friendly. Like I think a lot of people on these groups kind of come in and say, oh, I'm a complete newbie, and everyone's there supporting you and kind of helping you with advice. So they're definitely a great resource.
Definitely. Yeah, that is really important. And they'll tell you about, you can find local Facebook vegan groups as well, like for your local area, and they're quite useful to find out about the products near you, or the menu items near you as well. Because I used to live in Taunton in Somerset, and I had no idea all the number of places that actually had vegan offerings, but the minute I joined that group, I learned loads about my local area.
Yeah.
I liked your point though about trying making dishes that naturally wouldn't involve cheese, because I mean, I went vegan a long time ago, before there really was vegan cheese available. I mean, you could only really get it in a few health food shops. So you just got used to eating everything without cheese, pizza without cheese, and lasagnas without cheeses and that sort of thing. And actually, when all the vegan cheeses came onto the market, I was like, it actually tastes so much greasier and heavier with this in it. Like, you just get used to it very quickly, not having that on your food.
Yeah, you do. And it is healthier all round, isn't it, not having cheese? Because even vegan cheese is high in saturated fat. So yeah,
exactly. A lot of them are coconut oil based. Yeah, I think the nut based ones are obviously healthier, but as you say, they're quite expensive. So yeah, I mean, a little bit is a treat now and then, sure, but your taste buds adapt so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. My daughter has been vegan, I think 2.5 years now. She's 14, and she can smell milk powder from like a mile away. I'm just like, I don't think it is. It does have milk powder in it, Diane. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Check the label. Oh, I'll check it, and it will be literally the last ingredient, the tiniest bit of dairy milk powder, and she can smell it. She's so kind of in tune with with the and everything tastes so sour, I think, doesn't it, when you when you do give up dairy, and then kind of whether it's accidentally having it or whatever, it tastes really sour. So what sort of meal ideas would you recommend?
I think, again, for the people who are just starting out, brand new, we tend to recommend making the same meals that you're used to making, just swapping in, the vegan alternatives for the meat or dairy products. So rather, if you're used to eating lasagnas and burgers and pizzas, make vegan versions of those using either lentils or soya mince. There's so many ready-made burgers available out there, vegan burgers. So instead of, suddenly swapping from those kind of foods to eating kale and quinoa and raw juices, that's going to be quite a leap. So stick to meals that you're used to, just veganize them.
I think it's just make it easy on yourself, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, certainly once you've done it for a few weeks and you're feeling a lot more confident, then by all means branch out, because another amazing aspect of veganism is that you discover so many new foods. We all tend to get into just a habit of eating the same 7 dishes, every week. And when you remove that from your diet, you're forced to just explore and try new things. And, so often we hear from our participants that rather than feeling like they were missing out, they discovered so many new foods and flavors and dishes and really felt that their diet expanded when they went vegan.
Yeah, so much more colorful, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
So what about nutrition? Is there anything that new vegans should be mindful of when they're kind of cutting out eggs, meat, fish, and dairy?
Yeah, definitely. And again, this is one of the reasons why we like it when people sign up rather than going it alone, because we do provide useful nutritional info in our pledge emails, because, you do have to be conscious of where you're going to get certain vitamins from. It's entirely possible to get them all on a vegan diet, but you do have to make sure you're eating, the right foods for it. So the key ones, vitamin D and calcium for your bones, obviously very important. Calcium is widely available in lots of green vegetables and in tofu, tahini, and some other nuts and seeds. Vitamin D, again, a lot more foods are being fortified with vitamin D, a lot of the plant milks, but we would certainly recommend that people take a supplement in the UK, as the government recommends everyone living in the UK does in the winter time, because we don't from the sun in the winter at our latitude. Iron, very important for energy. Again, green leafy vegetables, very good for that. The beans and pulses, oats. And then B12 really is quite a critical one for vegans. And although, again, many of the plant milks are fortified with it, yeast extracts like Marmite and the Engevita or Nooch nutritional yeast all have it, we would still recommend people take a supplement just to make sure they're getting the right quantity, because most of us don't really plan our meals every day to make sure we've got the right nutrient amounts in them. So vitamin D and B12 are best to supplement to be safe.
Yeah. So, like you touched on, vitamin D is actually recommended by the NHS for everyone, isn't it? Even if you're vegan or not. I always get a bit defensive when it comes to supplements, because when my daughter went vegan, some of her sort of friends or their parents said, well, how can it be healthy when you have to take supplements? But obviously, doing the job that I do and sort of, the amount I've learned in the last 3 years is just amazing. Obviously, B12 was originally in our soil, wasn't it? But our soils have been degraded from over farming. It's not there anymore. Plus, we're scrubbing things clean, vegetables and things. So B12 is actually given to animals.
Exactly.
And meat eaters then get their B12 via the animal. So actually, you're just cutting out the middleman and getting a nice clean B12 supplement rather than one that's had to pass through
Exactly.
Another
That's
being.
it. Yes, I mean, that is really the crux of the issue. Like the farmed animals that they're eating are being supplemented, their diets are being supplemented. So, you know, you can't claim that taking supplements is unnatural when the animals that you're eating are being given supplements. So that's equally unnatural.
And unfortunately, a lot of other things, including antibiotics and all sorts.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the other vitamin that's quite important for vegans to ensure they're getting is iodine. And we need it, but in very small quantities. And the majority of people would get it from cow's milk. But it's not because cow's milk is actually naturally high in iodine. It's because the solution they use to clean, to disinfect the milking machines is iodine based. So milk becomes a good source of iodine, but it's in no way natural.
No, it's from a cleaning solution. We discussed this.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's horrid to think that.
Yeah.
Ugh. So yeah, iodine it's in seaweed, isn't it?
It's in seaweed, and you can get iodinized salt as well. So sometimes in the supermarket, you'll see it marked as iodized salt.
Okay.
And that way you would make sure you were getting it in your diet.
Yeah.
If you had just a general multivitamin, like one of the vegan multivits, it would have iodine in it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so either way, I think it's just, just checking, isn't it, that you are.
Exactly.
It's just about having a varied diet, I think, isn't it? And thinking.
Exactly, yeah.
If you're eating the same thing every day, then you're not going to be ticking all the boxes.
Yeah.
So you said you went vegan a long time ago. Should we just finish off by hearing about your vegan journey?
Yes. So yeah, I went vegan 30 years ago.
Wow. 30.
I was 19 when I went vegan.
Wow. You look amazing then for your age. Wow.
Thank you. And really, I mean, I'd gone veggie when I was 15, 16, really, kind of about turning from 15 to 16. I'd always loved animals, as most people do. And my dad was a butcher my whole life.
Really?
And when I was a little kid, we'd go into the butcher shop, you'd see the carcasses there. It didn't really faze me at that point until I was about 7 or 8, and we went to a farm for the first time, and I saw live cows and pigs and sheep. And, at that point I fell in love with the animals, of course, and then was horrified when in my mind I connected the two. And at that point I said to my mom that I didn't want to eat meat anymore, but she was very old school. It was the 70s. She was like, no, you have to eat meat or you'll die. So I carried on eating meat. But then as a teenager, we did a module at my school about vegetarian diets and, how to get all the right nutrients. We had to put together a diet plan. And at that point I went, oh, so you can live as a vegetarian. That's what I'm going to do. And then the vegan thing came because I got involved in animal rights campaigning. And then as soon as I found out, that cows had to be pregnant to produce milk, and that the babies were taken away, that was it. It's like, no, okay, I'm a vegan now.
Yeah. That was a real revelation for me. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? But you just
exactly.
You just don't think about it. You just, I don't know. You just drink it. You just buy it. You drink it, and that's that. But when you
true.
When you know the truth, it's so wrong. And the calves. I mean, cows are so intelligent, aren't they? And such sort of loving mothers. And I mean, a lot of people report that they cry as the calves are taken away, and it's just very sad.
It is. Yeah.
So
it's so weird as well, right? If you think about all the things we do to animals, the fact that we deliberately impregnate them, but it's not the babies we're interested in, they're just a byproduct. We just want to drink their breast milk. It's so weird.
It really is. And I think it's it's time for change now, time for us to denormalize these things and realize
definitely
it's not okay. It's really not okay. Well, it's been lovely chatting to you. And I want to wish everyone trying Veganuary this year good luck. Keep going. Don't give up. Go to the website and pester Toni for, all the help you need.
We've got a great Facebook group as well, actually. When people sign up, they can join our closed Facebook group, and they're really supportive in there too.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Toni, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Brilliant. Thank you.